Hello everybody, welcome. I'm No02, thank you for watching this video. This is a self-analysis game on myself, not really a commentary on the game itself, though I did think this was a good game. This is more about me self-analyzing, figuring out, well, why I won. And I know they say you lose more from your losses, but I feel like when I lose and I sort of look back at the replay, I kind of see where I messed up, where I made a mistake, too aggressive, too blah blah blah. When I win, sometimes I'm just baffled as to why I won or what's going on here. But also too, why I've chosen this game, other than me thinking it was a good game. Like, I thought it was a great game. At the end of this game, my pants were no longer on. You know what I mean. But I'm beginning to adopt what I think might be like my playstyle, like my philosophy around Sami. Like things are beginning to grow and happen, and I'm not entirely sure if they're the correct way to play. Maybe they're correct for Sami, because I'm Sami main person. I'm also the recon guy. That's who I want to be known as. I'm the recon guy. I build the recon on day 3 no matter what. It's what I eat for breakfast. No, but I've been trying to adopt this style of like producing at least 1 infantry per turn, because we're Sami. But it sort of leaves us with like it feels like there's a lot of opportunity for like 1 power unit, and then we sort of fluff behind it some infantry. And I'm sort of playing the style of like 1 big powerful unit plus infantry, or like helicopters and lots of infantry, and try to keep a really high unit count just in general. I feel like that gives Sami the most possible options, or at the very least, as far as Sami being a character that can get things done with infantry, she has the best chance of doing it. And so we want to have a really high infantry count for as long as possible. We'll sort of see how that goes here. But the things I'm focusing on, just in a very general sense: 1, did we deal at least 5,000 damage with our recon? 5,000 credits worth of damage with our recon. Why 5,000? Well, I know the recon costs 4,000 credits, but that recon is also taking up a slot that would have been an infantry. On our opponent's side, on their day 3, they're not building a recon most of the time. If they do, then it's even, doesn't matter. But if they're not, they're building an extra infantry, and that essentially means that they are going to capture 1 more city before we do, sooner than us. And so I'm sort of viewing building a recon on day 3, because it's so early in the game, it's in the capture phase of the game, that the recon is really costing us 5,000 credits, sort of, in the long term here, because we are basically guaranteeing that we are going to be 1 city behind at some point in the near future. So, did we do 5,000 damage credits with our recon? The other abstract thing that we can look at for the recon that I'm really trying to pay attention to, we'll sort of see how it works here, is I think it's best to build your recon on your strong side, because you're building the first piece. You're building the first thing on the map that has to be responded to. And so even though this is a standard map and people can see what we buy, and specifically on a map like this, on a standard map, when we purchase a recon, our opponent is going to build a tank on the side that the recon is. And I actually view this as an advantage, because we get to sort of dictate where our opponent's first tank does. And I'm sort of paying attention to how that potentially works, and see if we can maybe not kill our opponent's tank. That might be a possibility in Fog Map, where you can set up an ambush with a mech or something. But I think here we're looking for a tank that doesn't really do anything for a while. If our recon doesn't end up doing anything, at the very least, I want their tank not doing anything either, because we might view that as damage as well, in a sense. We're Sami here, we're green, we're going second, we're fighting Olaf, we're on the map, Lucifer, because, going second here. So, standard stuff here, he builds his infantry. I head for the base, build my infantry, and we're moving on. And he's doing his things here. The other thing I need to pay attention to, so I forgot my list. Pay attention to our recon, how much damage we do with it, and how it sort of works out. The other thing that I need to work on is contested territories. It feels so bad, it feels incorrect for me to skip cities and go for contested territories. And I know in the long run, if you hold on to those contested territories, you end up ahead in the economy. and you end up basically drawing a line in the sand where your opponent has to break you at these contested territories, and it can be quite hard to do that sometimes. Especially on this map, where later on in this map, I didn't quite realize it at first. I think artillery is quite good on this map, I think, and range and missiles as well. It's because the map is broken down into 3 choke points, and so it's just really easy to get a ranged unit into... I feel like the song keeps getting louder. I keep turning this song down, and it keeps getting louder. Anyway, I thought ranges were quite good here. But contested territories, I don't think I end up getting them here. I end up sort of trying to get the closer cities first, sort of like just naturally building out. And I think that lends myself to a slightly better economy in the early game, but I need to pay more attention to that, because I don't think it's really giving me as much credits as I think it is. Even in the short term, it feels like. But I think my capture order is all janky. But if you're watching this on the YouTubes, and you're like, hey, your capture order sucks, I'm all for it. Maybe be a little bit nicer, but I'm all for that. Like, I feel like there's something wrong here. I feel like on almost all of my games, I end up behind on cities, despite the fact that I'm playing Sami. Like, I should be winning. I win all infantry engagements for the most part, right? For the most part. They can shoot us first and it doesn't go quite so well for us, but there's a lot of opportunity for us to turn infantry fights around and get away with stuff, right? But especially with capturing contested cities. So get our base. I move forward here. All right, we're one capture away, one day away from most of these cities, so we might as well get the most forward one. That makes sense to me, right? Grab the most forward of all the cities. I'm also going second. I know that plays a factor in sometimes like the way the economy works out in the capture ordering, but it's above my head. I don't quite understand it. I haven't paid too much attention to it. Though I do think I end up winning this game behind in city still, like my opponent having the economic advantage. He grabs this city, and we can see here he skips, and he's going for this contested city, which sort of negates the value of our recon right out the gate, because we are not going to be able to interrupt a city capture with our recon, which is sort of a big part, right? Because I talked about the 5k value of a recon. Not getting a city interrupt, I think, is like getting a city interrupt is the fastest way to get value out of your recon. We don't get it here. It's day 3. We build our recon on our strong side, so he's going to build his tank on the weak side. I think this is good. I think this is correct, right? We'll start getting our heliport. Our airport. Might as well be a heliport. Grabs a contested city. The recon will not get there in time, but we do get a shot off on it. Because at this point, I'm also realizing, too, on this particular map, I'm realizing he's not going to have enough money to buy a tank unless he base skips. That was kind of good as well. Especially because he city skipped, I think, potentially. I don't know how it works out exactly, but just capturing, moving the infantry around, and here's our recon going in. So we're going to get a hit off on this penguin here, but he'll get the capture. Or so I think. I think he ends up respecting the recon here. But I also have the setup, not only am I going to get the hit off on the recon, we're going to get the kill entirely. I'm thinking to myself, either get the kill or I capture the comms tower. And I sort of end up having a choice here, because I think he ends up respecting the recon and he backs up with his penguin. The tank's not in range, and so I sort of thought to myself, if I move the infantry here, then he moves the tank in, and then I just thought, I have a also he builds the tank. He builds the tank and has to base skip. He doesn't have enough for one more infantry. But I thought that was kind of a win. I thought, oh, I get a little bit of a unit advantage here, even if it's just one. I don't know, do we view that as economic damage, as value? How do we value that? How do we value potentially forcing our opponent to do a base skip? What's the value? Can someone give me a number, please? Somebody run the numbers and get back to and contact my people. And so here I was like, I don't know if I capture this or go for it, right? Like, it's just not going to work out. He's going to have the tank and the penguin in range. I think we don't get it at all. We put the recon here. to force the penguin to capture this city. Or at the very least, his infantry has to wait. I don't think we necessarily force it, right? Because this guy can capture this guy captures that, this guy can just hang out. But my thought was, I don't want him to start capturing this again with the tank in range to defend it, right? So let's force him to move the tank up first, and then I have to retreat the recon, and then he can potentially get it. But that was my thinking here, at the very least, which was an epiphany for me. At one point in time, I wanted to do a replay analysis on that game for myself as well, make a YouTube video about it, because I had this unbelievable mind explosion when I realized that if I just park a recon on top of a city, it's the same thing as them not being able to capture it. That's a delay. That's a delay. Because I found myself in a situation where I can't really attack. Right? I can't attack this penguin for free. It's actually protected by this tank. But I thought to myself, if I just park on a city and prevent the capture, that's still 1,000 credits worth of economic damage in a sense, because I'm delaying the capture of a city by a turn. And it blew my mind. I thought I was the smartest player in the world. I thought I discovered that. Maybe I have. Maybe I'm the first to record it. I'm the first to record it. I've discovered it. It's canon. But I start capturing the comm tower and just leave this city. I just feels like I'm not going to win it. And we're pretty light over here because I decided to get these back cities sooner rather than later, which might be a mistake. I just felt like they're a turn away, they're closer. I just feel like at this point in the game, I don't quite have enough to afford an APC, or like, I don't know. I feel like I always want an APC with Sami. It always feels good. But I haven't quite figured out my build order. I know build orders change from map to map, potentially, but like, D just made a video where he was using the term a book opening, like you would refer to a game of chess. He played against a player who built a really early artillery. A recent D just video. I was like, oh, like that made sense to me, because like a book opening, I get it. And that felt like that concept alone feels like it adds a whole bunch of depth to this game just in general. Because book openings would be dramatically different from map to map, right? If we were to really consider that to be a true concept. Which I think it is. Come at me. So again, just infantry on his part. He can't afford another tank again without base skipping. So just penguins on his part makes sense. And then of course he moves the tank up. And I have to retreat. But this is where I thought I was really clever. I built the mech. And look, if I just park this mech right here. And then park my recon next to it. You're not going to attack my recon. You're not going to attack my recon, right? You're not going to attack my bishop when my pawn is protecting it. Or my pawn when my bishop... Anyways, you know what I mean. You would never make this trade a tank for a recon against a Sami mech, right? So I felt real smart, because I still wanted to... I'm still fighting for this contested city. And I'm scared over here on the left side, on the weak side, because if I try to capture this, he wins. And I'm actually being quite bold, I think, just being here. Or did he move up on his last turn? I think he moved up on his last turn. I leave it. I can't contest it. I just leave it alone. And for the time being, right, because we captured in the most, as far as I can tell at the moment, more efficiently, not necessarily efficiently, we sort of avoided getting we're devoid of contested cities. That's who I am. I avoided prioritizing the contested cities. What are we getting for it? An extra K a turn here. An extra K. We're capturing 3, 4. He's capturing 5 at the moment. One of them is the comms tower, so 4. So we're going to maintain our lead over the next couple of turns here. And he starts capturing. I don't think I challenge him. I can't remember what I do. I think I might let bygones be bygones here. How long do we have this economic advantage? A turn? Oh, we got 2k advantage here. 2k advantage there. Like every other turn, we got like a 2k advantage, and that slowly grew into a... Well, now we're behind, aren't we? Look at this. Now we're behind. Which I know he goes first, I go second. I don't know exactly how that plays into the capture phase as far as like, oh, if you go second and you're 2k behind, you've done something wrong, right? Like, I don't know what the correct statement is or the way I should exactly evaluate it. If you go first and you're 3k ahead, you're not doing good. You've made a mistake, right? I don't know. Does that make sense? I think 2 examples is enough. But here we pressure. Recon. I love this little spot here because it blocks it entirely. Mech is in range. In range of the recon. We move the tank up. I think I could have moved the tank up one more. There's no reason to park the tank in the forest. I was like, the forest provides more defense. But, I think we could have just parked it up one more. Squeeze out one more extra movement, potentially, here. Because if we moved it up one more, we would be in range of this city, and depending on where he puts this tank, we could potentially get a free hit in or something like that. I don't know. But I think just leaving the tank back this one space is technically a mistake. Technically a mistake. But this is our strong side. We got the most of our value on our strong side. We literally haven't built anything on our weak side yet. He's built a tank on his strong side now. So again, now I think we, at the very least, the recon, which hasn't done any damage at this point, at the very least, we forced the first tank to be on his weak side. And now if he wants to build a tank chain on his strong side, it's technically been disrupted. Just delayed it a turn or two, right? We start capturing some cities. Oh, we go second, so I guess we weren't technically behind on the captures, right? Is that the correct way to interpret it? That's our turn. So I think I'm a little disappointed with the capture thing here, right? He's gonna get both or at least one of the contested cities. I think this is the contested city that I'm supposed to get. This is the contested city that's closer on my side, right? Is it closer on his side? I don't quite know. 1, 2. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 turns away. 3 turns away. It's technically 3 turns away, but there's all his captures. Still capturing some of the stuff in his back line. We're all done with our back line, so the next turn all of our infantry are going to be starting moving to the front. And he built an anti-air really early, I thought. Kind of early, I thought, but I think we do build a helicopter. Now, do people know that Sami players like to build helicopters? Is that a thing? Is that a Sami thing to do? Build lots of helicopters so that you can maintain a higher unit count? We get our captures. I don't know. At this point, I felt like up to this point, I was really smart with the recon, the mech, and then finalizing it with the tank, and that like truly pushes him off of the city. I thought like, yes, I've done it. I've made choices that resulted in what I wanted. Cool. Now at this point, I think I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't want my mech to get shot by infantry. That's a horrible trade for us, right? But I feel like I feel like I could have potentially fought harder for this contested city because we do not get it for like a million years. And I think at this point I have the majority of my resources on my strong side sort of end up doing nothing. I think partially because we don't have any infantry to follow up. If we had an infantry to follow up with and protect it and like force an infantry trade, like I think that's good for us. But no, the tank, we do build our helicopter tank turn. We build another mech, and I feel like this this mech is just out of place. Like if we were gonna, I think I moved this mech without thinking, and then like changed my mind, or I was thinking something else, moved my mech, and then changed my mind, and I was like, no, we need this city. And now the mech doesn't protect the recon. Technically only protects the tank, and the tank is set up in a way where it's going to get first hit by an enemy tank. It feels like this is sloppy. Feels sloppy to me. And I think what I need to summarize here is like slower turns. Like I think this is literally a I take my turns too fast issue here. We're still up 2K in the economy here. Oh, never mind. He'll be catching up. He'll be breaking even with us in a second here. And we'll end up being one ahead because he's got this contested territory. I do not. And then he's got both of his things back here. I do not. But he's still got this city up in the top right. So we're going to be 2K behind. And I actually think we end the game 2K behind as far as cities go. And I want to look at this board state just a little bit here because I think I end up noticing, for when this tank is uncontested, like, shouldn't he have... So if I were him, I would have rolled up and shot this infantry that was on the road. But I guess I could have... I guess I could have surrounded it. Maybe that was smart of him. He goes here, shoots this. This guy walks over, that guy walks over. Oh, okay, I guess I didn't see this. But I was thinking to myself, like, why didn't he just attack with the tank? Like to me, like, into my noob mind, this is a free hit. It's a free hit, but it's actually a surround. If you park right here. Yeah, it's a trap either way. It's a trap either way. I would have fallen into this trap 100%. And the helicopter would have rolled up and killed that tank. Okay. So maybe this is good. I was going to say, like, maybe this is a little too passive with the tank. He could have done more with it, but no. We would have killed it. He's got 3 tanks and artillery, anti-air. I got 2 tanks, a helicopter, 2 mechs, and a recon. We're actually tied on infantry. And we are on a timer here because we're going to be behind on the economy. Behind on the economy. I don't think I can look at the current economy, right? Oh, by the end of it, we ended up generating more. 20k more. Oh, interesting. By the end, we ended up generating 20k more resources than him. I didn't realize that. Okay, I don't know. Maybe we discovered something here. Maybe we accidentally did the right thing. But I think I see here there's a free hit on the penguin. Fly up the helicopter. The other thing we need to pay attention to is with my playstyle, or at least the Sami concept, someone literally told me, like, hey, consider building lots of extra helicopters because that'll allow you to potentially produce lots of infantry. Helicopters are better at fighting tanks. Sami will pretty much never win a tank chain versus tank chain, so consider throwing in some extra helicopters to combat enemy tanks. So we also need to pay attention to the value we get out of our helicopters here. Recon value, I don't know what we've done here, right? Other than forcing this one tank. But we do get a free hit here with a recon. As far as, like, he's got what? 3 tanks, 4. He's got 5 pieces to play with, essentially. I have 2, 4, 5, 6 pieces. If we count the mechs as, like, notable pieces on the board for us to play with, take positions, and make choices with, we technically have more pieces on the board to make more dramatic decisions. Because I sort of view the infantry as like pawns, right? You don't really make the big plays with the pawns a lot of the times. I know there's pawn traps, and pawns are an important piece of chess. I know that, but I feel like the big bang flashy units, right? The pieces, or the tanks, the mechs, the recons, the things you do stuff with specifically. But here I realize we can just get a free hit off on this infantry. And I know the anti-air will heck up the recon quite a bit. I just sort of thought I got 2 tanks to his 2 tanks technically, plus the mech. If he goes for this anti-air, I thought maybe if I blow up the anti-air, I can get the helicopter over there and get some value out of it. But I sort of thought, like, you know what, let's show a force. Shoot the infantry. We've did 600 damage with the recon so far. 600 credits worth of damage. And then we move up, show a force. And we just move all our infantry around. We sort of just chill in the center. We're scared. We're scared to move out. But I do have a habit. For any of those who are watching who have also watched me play Iron Harvest, you probably know that I would rather lose the game than sit back and play like a Cold War match, right? Where I just like both sides are just building up units and neither side is really attacking or defending or trying to do anything to each other. Can't stand it. Can't stand it. I'd rather lose by attacking aggressively than just sit back and watch each other stalemate. I will never accept a draw. Will not accept a draw. That's well, hear me speak now. I'll never accept a draw. I refuse. I'd rather lose a game by being the first person to make the mistake than accept a draw in a game where both players are just waiting for the other person to make the mistake. I'll make that mistake. I don't give a crap. Got our free hit in. Let me move the infantry up here. This is an important infantry. I remember this turn distinctly because I make a mistake here. Make a big mistake here. That sort of sets us back, I think, a little bit. He builds another anti-air because I built a second helicopter. I don't think this is a good map for helicopters. I don't know if it's a good map or not. Because so much of the fighting ends up getting choke pointed at these three like intersections that it's just like one anti-air just like protects the entire area. I'm not sure if it's a good map for helicopters, but I do see a free hit. You know, and the fact that he look how close he is. Like this city right here is for the most part his, right? Like nothing is in range of me attacking him for the most part, other than this helicopter. And I feel like they back up, but we're not really talking too much about their mistakes or what they did, but I feel like they gave me the city for free, because now they got like literally nothing other than this tank in range of this city. And I just take the city for free. I get a free hit with the helicopter here. Get to take the city, and the helicopter being there also blocks the tank from trying to stop the capture, or at the very least damaging it or trading for it, right? But here's my big mistake. My thought here was, let's set up for this infantry to get his city here. Nice little choke point. The tanks get pulled off all the way to the side. And I thought to myself, we'll put the recon on top, right? Because the anti-tank units are the mech and the tank itself. And I thought if he wants to kill this recon, he's going to have to move both tanks over. And I can get a hit off with the mech, and then a hit off on the tank itself and maybe kill a tank, or maybe I split the damage. And I thought either way, he's got to commit both tanks to a side where I got two anti-tank units waiting to go. Well, there's the big oversight here is just this infantry, because that plan only works if I can move a tank onto that city. Not only that, this infantry is in range of our mech, so it doesn't really matter. It's a really dumb mistake, I think. This is maybe like oh, you should have used the move planner. I don't believe in the move planner. Don't believe in the move planner. I'm the guy whose turns will last like 35 seconds. These turns that we're going through painstakingly slow, these turns probably lasted me a minute. I took these turns like a minute worth of time. So tank, right? As I predicted, second tank, he's fallen right into our trap. We have him. Oh god, he moves the infantry in. Oh, I need to make this bigger. What am I doing? This board is tiny. I'm so sorry. Move the board in a little bit. That's better. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm professional. He moved his infantry in. Oh, my mind explodes. I didn't see it. I can't believe this is happening to me. I don't deserve this. He shoots my mech. It's not looking good now. All of a sudden, we just have to back up. Not gonna work. Not gonna work here. But, I guess notably our opponent is building tanks on their weak side. And they built an artillery, one tank, and anti-air on their strong side. A little perplexing to me because typically I'm just like, I should just be chilling. Like, I should be stoked that I see this because I'm like, oh, well, you're not going to break through me anytime soon. With what you got on your strong side, sort of really just allowing me to focus everything on my strong side and just go for him, but I make another big mistake. This is where the match begins. Welcome to the 30-minute mark where the match begins. Not a whole lot has happened. There's some intricate play over here maybe, but at some point here we're going to go for it, where we literally charge with all of our infantry. And we attack. Like, not a good trade, not ideal. Do I attack with this tank? Can't remember if I do. Move this helicopter around. Built a third anti-air unit. And we are posed to strike on both sides. So completely disregarding the strong side, weak side philosophy, we are going to be pushing and attacking on both sides at the same time. And it is not going to go well for us. That's another good... strong side, weak side, there is some truth to it. You cannot win everywhere. It's just not possible. 2 bases versus our 1 base and a helicopter. It's just not a winning fight a lot of the times. Right, they build 1 anti-air, keep it with their stuff, and it's just like, well, guess I better fly my helicopter somewhere else. But he goes for the attack. Because one thing I realized, as far as like helicopter spam, B-copter spam, with infantry spam, anti-air counters both of those really well. So we need something to kill the anti-air units, right? Also, we built an artillery. This is where I was talking about like this idea of like power units, where I thought, well, not necessarily power units. I sort of thought in a general sense, what's really strong if I have a crap ton of infantry? Artillery. Lots of meat shield. Artillery is important. Remember this. Artillery are carnivores. Artillery are carnivores. They like meat just all over them, all over their bodies, all around them, surrounded by meat, just like any good carnivore does. They love meat, and they just want all the infantry as near as possible to them. So he's attacking us. Nothing too significant, right? Some basically, these are basically like, especially in the center here. This is like, these are like free infantry kills. Free infantry kills, not a whole lot going on. We threw away that mech. The mech dealt 4 damage to a tank. We're really not too thrilled about it. Lots of first hits here. This is sort of the moment where I was just like, man, nothing's really happened. I just built a wall of infantry. I don't want to just stand there with a wall of infantry. We gotta do something. Gotta do something. What's up as anti-air? And really, it just feels like there's really no free hits here with our B-copters here. But now it's our turn. You guys want to see this blunder? You guys want to see? Just like this mad dash into violence here that we're about to take. Helicopter. It's actually a free hit with the helicopter. Funny enough. Free hit with the helicopter, or so I thought. So you'll see. And even though we were able to break this edge because of the mountain, like we actually can't start surrounding this line. So we actually just go 1 for 1 here on this infantry line. Really don't do anything too significant. Trade infantry there. Trade infantry there. And we're just going for it. I thought to myself, if we can just like maybe kill one of the anti-air and potentially clog up the other with infantry, maybe this copter can do something. We body block for it at least. Notice the power though. Notice the blizzard. You'll see. If you don't know, you'll know. Not very good at foreshadowing. Just give it all away. And start capturing. At the very least, we're like, okay, we're on top of this city. Ideally, though, we would prefer it to be an infantry, right? Because now are we bluffing? Are we prepared to use this mech to fight a tank? I don't know. Right? But it's ideally, it's just like, which could be a thing. Maybe you bluff, like, oh, he's capturing with the city with the mech. Maybe I can put a tank closer to it and he'll go for the capture, right? Maybe, I don't know. Might make it an interesting choice, but for the most part, we would have loved for this to have been an infantry and for the mech to be poised to strike. Set up our artillery here. And here's one good thing about unit advantage. One thing that I realized, and I think Dee just talked about this as well, is that artillery units, ranged units in general, artillery missiles, rockets, are strongest when you have unit advantage. Ranged units are strongest when you have unit advantage, because that means you'll have more things to put in front of your artillery, and your opponent will have less things to try and break that wall to get to the ranged unit in the back. And I thought, we have pretty significant unit advantage here. Let's just build a rocket now. We're pushed up, right? We're fully engaged. Let's get the rockets in here. Power unit, right? We're going to build infantry, and if whatever is left over, we can afford. Or I was thinking, the power unit idea was, what's the most powerful unit that we can build while still filling our other two bases with infantry? Does that make sense? That was the idea here. Also, we built an APC. I feel like I want to make a video about mechs. I don't feel quite confident enough to put out like a guide, but I've been, being a Sami main, I've built a lot of mechs. And I feel like mech is just not a good unit in general. And if you want mechs to work, I think you need an APC for the most part, or you need a map that is very specifically good for mechs in general. Because otherwise, it's like a mech kills a tank, but now it's an 8K investment to create something that is still going to have a hard time fighting a tank. And now the counterattack, right? We're getting the capture. I think we get the capture off, or at least have the option to do so. But our tanks are dying. Infantry are dying. Good turn ordering on his part here, because this tank was technically blocked by that infantry right there. The way it sort of worked out allows him to get a tank down to hit this tank right here. But I guess technically that infantry still needed to pull an enemy tank over. But I think we could have parked this artillery somewhere else, right? Let's finish this turn. Let's go back and look at this artillery, because I think I parked this artillery in the wrong place. He does attacking. Then he does the snow. My helicopter attack. I thought this was a free hit. It is not. He activates the power, and now this helicopter, unless I commit to the meat wall here, and body block for the helicopter, this helicopter actually can't get away from his anti-air. And now he starts trading on his strong side, my weak side here. Anti-air just blowing up infantry. There's literally nothing here to deal with the anti-air. Like, we attacked into anti-air with only infantry and a B-copter on our weak side. Ugh. I feel the shame. Another anti-air unit. Another anti-air unit. So many anti-air units on his side. We have 1, 2, 3. He has 5 anti-air. It's a lot of anti-air. Oh yeah, so that was his turn. Let's go back. Where did I put this artillery? Should I have... I guess putting it right here guarantees that he has to move the tank. But that's not really a big deal, because there's value in him moving the tank somewhere else, right? Like, putting the artillery here doesn't give him a hard choice. it just makes the easier choice even easier, even more obvious. Maybe we should have put the artillery here in the forest. Could we have? We don't challenge the tank, but necessarily. Yeah, we should have put the artillery in the forest, I guess, technically, because then it's technically closer to the front line. Not a big deal, because I don't think it doesn't do anything extra. Well, I guess this infantry ends up shooting that infantry. We could have had the artillery do that. Or no, infantry runs away. Never mind. Never mind. It's a small... It's a big... Not a big deal. I guess technically we could have the artillery closer to somewhere else. Oh. But now it's snowing time. It's our turn. We're feeling the pain. We no longer have unit advantage at this point. We're 20k behind in unit value. And look at our weak side. We had so much infantry over here, and it's gone. It's all gone. And we have to retreat in the snow. But we do move the rockets up, and I think we capture this city here. And sort of just think to ourselves, we can secure this city with the rockets, and that'll give us an even economy. But where we can, essentially, we're still trying to just trade infantry for infantry. Lower his unit count. Full retreat. I didn't do the damage calculator for the artillery shooting my infantry on a city. I probably should have, because then I would have known that that's not going to work. You don't get to capture that unless you can shove more meat into that city. But this doesn't work out. And so because this helicopter literally cannot get away, unless we just sacrifice all of our infantry, and that it just wasn't going to work. I shoot the artillery thinking that's, other than the anti-air, right? Like the only thing that's going to challenge us is this artillery, so we'll shoot that. It's better than shooting the infantry. Because the weakness of artillery, the weakness of ranged units is they can't move and shoot. So if an artillery unit needs to move, that's good news for you. But we capture the city, and I figure with the rockets here now, this choke point is ours. At the very least, this attack has gotten us that city. And we got it pretty much locked down. We do like basically a full retreat. Park the tank here. I try to protect. I don't know what I'm doing here with this infantry with these two smucks. But I think what I'm trying to do here is, hey, if you want to challenge me capturing the city with an infantry unit that's going to take like 4 turns, you need to spend 2 of your tanks to kill. It's 2 of your tanks to do so. You need 1 tank to kill this infantry, another tank to then kill the infantry capturing. Otherwise, you can't do it. Otherwise, you have to like do it dangerously, right? Like you can't just stop this capture. So I don't know what I was thinking entirely, or what the follow-up was necessarily. I think maybe we could have... Is there any way that we could have played this out better? Right, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And challenge this, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we could have put the helicopter right here instead of the tank. And then I'm trying to see if maybe we could have been more aggressive with the artillery. And I guess we could have, because we have the rockets here. Right? If we put the artillery where the tank is, maybe, or we maybe could have been more aggressive with this artillery, but we sort of just back up. I want to desperately protect the rockets. Right? It's the bulk of our unit value. Other than helicopters, other than B-copters, but... Now look at the board state. Look at the board state. Just unit count, unit value. It doesn't feel good. It feels rough. And we literally have no answers on this side, so now I'm like, I have to divert resources over to my weak side now. Cannot be more helicopters. Has to be a tank now at this point. Which is perhaps kind of good. I don't know. Was that... Let me know. Is that a good attack or not? We did eliminate a lot of his infantry, thinned out his unit count, and now all he has over here is anti-air, so it's like a tank unit. It deals with literally everything over here. But it is our weak side, so it's like we're just not going to win in the tank wars over time. Infantry's hurt on the retreat. Our city is vulnerable. He kills our helicopter, kills that infantry, just all this free damage that we cannot retaliate. Joins a unit there. That boggles my mind. I know there's some instances. I know there's some instances where joining units is correct, but it seems crazy. Look at this, bam! All of our infantry that tries to get away is dead. Got this one guy here who was originally capturing the city. He has a tale to tell. He does commit 2 tanks to eliminate this infantry, and then it's like, well, what did we get for it? I literally thought, like, yeah, I can pull 2 of his tanks over for him to deal with this if he wants to deal with it safely. And we could have just parked the artillery here in the forest. And though I guess that would have been a bad idea. But I was like, yeah, we got 2 tanks over there. He's done it. He's done exactly what I thought he would do. And then what? There's no follow-up. There's nothing going on here. We are not in a position to pressure anything over here now, right? Like these 2 tanks, right? Like technically being a little bit more isolated. There's nothing over here that we can now punish because those 2 tanks are out of position. Right? And so we just threw away 2 infantry for free there. And so I think I need to remember, like, I need to think turns ahead. Because I think, like, oh, like, I can predict what you're going to do with your units if I move mine this way. But I have to ask, well, what are we really getting for it? We didn't get anything for it. other than I got to flex my brain and say, yes, I was correct. And then he sacrifices his anti-air. And I know, and this seems super strange to me because we're going to blow that up with rockets. And now he has nothing over here to deal with our 2 helicopters. I was quite happy to see that. He blows up all of our tanks. But at the very least, this helicopter here is going to be able to block for artillery still. So our artillery is in a sketchy position. So can you imagine if we still had those 2 infantry that we threw away for free right now? 2 infantry, even though both low health, would have been an extra turn to defend this artillery, essentially. That we threw them away for free. Rockets, the anti-air. Now we're looking good. We have our superpower here. Keep in mind, when we had all of our infantry, we didn't really have any power yet. No conflict had happened. But we basically threw away all of our infantry before we were even close to getting our double time. We're on day 14. When did we get our first? So on our blizzard, right? So right after, so we did our big attack. And then he counterattacked, and that's when we finally had... That's when we finally had our basic power. It's not correct. We need to figure out how to still have a huge bulk of infantry as we're going into our hero power, because obviously that's what our hero power does. We don't want all of our infantry sort of on the move to the front line again, because the front line infantry have been exhausted. Oops. But we blow up the anti-air, and then the helicopters get to do stuff. Nice. And I think I just block. Like, I'm forced now to use this helicopter to literally just block. But at the very least, that means that this artillery gets to stay, right? Ranged units on the move are in a state of weakness. Artillery and missiles that get to stay still get to be strong, get to be brave. Our artillery gets to be brave and shoot from a distance, from a safe distance. Activate our power. I want you all to notice that before we activated our power, and we are at max juice right now, I moved this infantry and shot with it before I activated my power. This is another mistake where I'm playing my turns too quickly, where I'm just like, yeah, we'll do this, and then I went, oh, let's activate our power, because then we can get this mech to shoot that tank. That was all my thinking. Boom. Get this guy in here. This tank can now kill that small tank. This artillery blows up that baby tank. And we can get another infantry to block. I know this may not be the strongest, but I don't think he has anything to deal with it. He has nothing to deal with it. Put the APC up for mech transport. Then we move on in here. And it's sort of like and I feel like at this point, I feel like our opponent may have blundered a little bit with that attack here. With the attack of the anti-air. If he protects his anti-air, these two helicopters remain to continue to be able to do nothing. So we were unbelievably happy to see that. But on our weak side, it's not looking so good. He's going to be able to outproduce us tank-wise on our weak side. And he has all the anti-air possible to deal with our infantry. I feel like we're doing okay. We're keeping up. We're behind in unit count now. So in theory, that means our ranged units are getting weaker. Our ability to potentially sustain protecting them is getting weaker. Whoa, look at this attack. We go for it. Never give up. Never surrender. Attack him. We're basically trading damage on infantry for the death of our own infantry. But I am thinking at this point in time, we actually have the tank advantage here. So I'm thinking, let's attack now. Let's force him to put the anti-air right here, essentially. And I can maybe kill an anti-air or trade into it. I don't think it's a good play, but I'm sort of just reasoning here that... Oh, hero powers again. I'm sort of just reasoning here that while I have the tank to protect these infantry before this other tank gets here in time, maybe we can do some damage. I think I was also thinking this, like, he actually doesn't have that much infantry at all. So if we can maybe hurt his infantry or push his infantry back, we protect this city for another turn. Or actually for a couple of turns, right? Because that was a full HP infantry. We're also taking advantage of the fact that we've activated our hero power. Right? Is this still the turn? Yeah. Yeah. We're actually still protecting this city, and this penguin's in range of that city, so I think, yeah, that's what I'm doing here. I am protecting the city. He's got no infantry in range of it that can capture it comfortably, so let's just heck him up. And that will keep this city safe for a little bit longer. Because we're still tight on income. Rage infantry here. Hero powers. Maybe he could have saved up for a Winter Fury. But again, I think here what he's doing is our helicopters. Our helicopters become crappy. Helicopters fall apart in the winter storms, I've come to discover. And we are just not going to get anything done with these helicopters now. Though, that's doubly... I feel like he already has the anti-air, though, so that's like... The anti-air plus the blizzard, I think, is a little overkill. As far as dealing with the helicopters. Over here, it's our weak side. We're defending. We are really not going to be going past this mountain range after this point here, right? Because of his tanks and it being our weak side and everything. There you go. We traded damage. I guess, yeah, we protected the city for a while. Another combination. Crazy. Up in unit count. Behind in unit value, I think, for the time being, but obviously it's going to go up at the end of his turn here. Commits the tank. Not in rocket range. Commits the tank, saves the 1 HP infantry. And I just feel like, look at our strong side versus his weak side, and our weak side versus his strong side. I feel like at this point I was thinking like, I can break through maybe, but we need to deal with this anti-air unit. I don't recall exactly what I was thinking, but I do think that we can fight this tank with helicopters here, because we have the rockets to protect it. We do not do that. We're scared of the anti-air. We do move our rockets up though, ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. Could we have been more aggressive here? Because I'm worried about body blocking. Like, I'm desperately scared of him getting on top of my rockets. I feel like that's like all I have here. Yes, right. And I think I maybe am a little too timid. Could we have put the rockets right here? Could we have put the rockets right here? What does that do for us? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 is empty. Then 1, 2, 3. 3. Wish you could see the unit ranges in the move planner. You can, let me know. Yeah, I feel like we could have moved it up right here. 1, 2, 3. We're sort of zigzagging. All across the city, we cover this. We challenge the anti-air, the tank at the same time. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you can't get over here. We could have put the rockets right here, and they would have been perfectly safe. And potentially cover more space. What we should have done. That's what we should have done. We're like a little too timid here with the rockets. So I guess movement-wise, it doesn't make a big deal because it's still +2 movement to get onto that plains right there. So it doesn't matter either way. But I think we could have challenged more. We could have challenged more with the rockets. But our weak side is looking quite dire. Our weak side, he's technically ahead now as far as capturing goes on our weak side versus our strong side, right? Because he's going to get this city. He's about to get the economic advantage. 2k swing on his favor. We just can't do anything about it. I think we could have delayed it. And I think at this point I was like, look at my units. Look at my numbers over here. We're like, he's like doubling us in units on our weak side here. And almost all of them were vehicles to our infantry. So I just figured, you know what? Let's just not run away and move this guy 1 space. I don't know why I moved him 1 space. As opposed to just like all the way. Oh, it was winter. That's why. It was winter. This guy can only move 1 space. Oh my goodness. I was very impressed at the very least as far as how much just the blizzard itself, just the day of snow was messing me up, it felt like. He gets that city. He's 2k ahead of us now. That infantry is a free kill. We're protected by tanks. We can't get to that artillery without committing everything. I think Sami versus a 6 HP infantry in a city. I think it's a range. It might be a range. Right? Is that a range? Or Sami? Infantry. It's only got 6 HP though. But it's on a city. And the result is, I don't know how good of a range that is. 1 HP? I can't remember what we do here. Backs up the anti-air. He's on full retreat on his weak side. Which is just like unbelievable to me. I don't understand how I won. It's the rockets, right? Just meet and range units. Am I playing Sami like a grit player? Let me know in the comments. Oh, I don't get a chance. He runs the artillery away. Got this nice conga line here. We're doing the mech spam. We're desperate. I'm scared. At this point, I think I'm just like, holy crap. We need to kill him before he kills us, because look at what we have here. We built a desperation artillery. Remember, artillery is strongest when you have unit advantage. We don't have that at all over here. But I just figured we need a unit that can get value over time. We need to do something. At least, at the very least, we delayed the capture of this city for a while. Get that tank healing. Protect it with the mechs. I think I moved the rockets up one. Yeah. Because I know at the very least he can't break this tank. With a one-on-one here, right? Like, maybe he could. He could blow that tank up. Artillery, the recon. Then tank, right? Oh, man. Nope, that's the wrong button. That's the wrong button. Where's the calculator? Where's the calculator here? Let's swap it. Does an anti-air kill a Sami mech? On planes? But it's got 10 HP. Oh, it's a range. Wait, no, he's got a comm. I forget the comm towers. Oh. I didn't even notice this before. This? I guess... Let's see here. He moves in a tank, blows this up. Moves in the anti-air, blows up my mech. And then tank, to kill my tank right here. And then he has one more anti-air left over. To what? Shoot my rockets? It hacks up the rockets, but doesn't kill the rockets. Then the rocket will be in range of most of the tanks. I'll have an artillery in range of the tanks, a helicopter, another mech. Okay, I guess maybe that's not a good break. Maybe that's not a good break here. There's no follow. I think the counterattack on our part is too strong, right? Plus another helicopter. And we could potentially pop a hero power and get... we can't get the infantry to block, but... Oh, we have a tank over here too. Okay, maybe he made the right choice. I think... I was worried maybe he could have broke this and really hecked us up, but I think the counterattack on our part would have been too good. So good on his part, because maybe I would have attacked. Never mind, he attacks. I see it now. Oh, he kills the helicopter. Interesting. I don't remember this at all. Look, he's going for it. Both sides. Strong side, weak side. He's doing what I did. Strong side, weak side. He's attacking. He's going for it. And it didn't work out for us. Alright, Rachel. That was a mistake. I think he meant to capture and misclicked the fire button, and I've done that too. I've done that too. I've misclicked some fire buttons, and I blame them for my losses. Activated Blizzard again. I think they also might be feeling the fear here, a little scared. But notice here, our lack of units. We have one artillery, and we're gonna blow up a tank, and then what? We have no follow-up. Oh, I just noticed this tank over here attacking the infantry that was originally capturing was a free hit. It was a free hit on our part. And then technically a second free hit. Technically a second free hit. We move in the tank. I think we're just sacrificing. This tank is actually protected by the artillery, so we can heck up that. We can shoot that tank. But now with the anti-air being committed, this helicopter potentially is going to get some value. Blow up the anti-air. We try to body block this anti-air unit from our artillery. But I think he can just drive this tank down, blow that up, and then his tank gets on top of it. It doesn't matter either way. I think we could have had the choice between No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think we would have... The choice here on our weak side is we could have put our infantry on the street, and it would have body blocked the tanks, but would have left us open for the anti-air to shoot our artillery. By protecting ourselves from this anti-air unit, we've left ourselves open for a tank to shoot our artillery. So we made the wrong choice there. What? Some sort of graphical glitch happening here. Yeah, we shoot it with the artillery. We shoot it with the rockets. Get the mech on top of the tank. Again, too, I think poor hero power usage here. Poor hero power usage. Though I think I'm saving it up to try and like steal these cities real fast now. With the unit count dwindling on both sides, our ability to grab cities is going to be really good, I think. At least that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. And now still like having a helicopter left alive has prompted more anti-air units. Sort of ended up leaving us like with like what's going to be a tank advantage. Moves in the tanks, anti-air. Treats the infantry, does what he can with the anti-air. Doesn't have much choice there. Oh, he doesn't get the range. Doesn't get the range, but the anti-air's there to finish it off anyways. Shoots our artillery. We are very sad. At this point, I was quite concerned. And he's fully committed. And at this point, I remember distinctly going, holy crap. We're, like, I think we're just barely going to hold on. And I think I ended up focusing on the anti-air unit because I was like, we needed to get this helicopter to do some work. And we're scared. Because I also feel, at this point too, it feels like we're losing. Because I'm looking at, we've been 2k behind for a couple of turns now. 2k behind for a while now, it feels like, I think, right? Maybe not as long as I thought, right? Because it's that city right there that got swapped. But not only that, it feels like he's making more progress on his strong side than we are over here. Like, it feels like he's been slowing us down effectively, and we have not. I remember being worried at this point. Sacrifices his tank for a 4 HP mech. So that's a little mistake on his part here. We pop our super. We pop our super. We capture a city. Capture a city. Get the 2k swing in our favor, but I feel like too little too late, right? Like, who cares about a 2k a day at this stage in the game? Move up the artillery. Properly defend the 2 mechs. And I feel like we have to make progress. Move these rockets up. Move them up. Move them up. But we also don't have anything to deal with the helicopter other than our own helicopter. I think I ended up sacrificing the helicopter. Look at this APC for the wall. Love it. I think we sacrifice our helicopter to deal with his, because he literally doesn't have anything to deal with our tanks now other than his one tank. And I was like feeling the pressure, like, we need to go. We need to go right now. We need to run for our lives. We lose the helicopter. We don't do crap with this helicopter. We kill the tank with it. Why is the helicopter? The helicopter should be right here, I think, right? So I think I'm trying to block the anti-air unit. We probably could have played this out better. I think we could have maybe blocked for the helicopter a little bit better with our units. But we got damage on the artillery here. I forgot to go over there. Cover over there. But at the very least at this point, we've somehow came ahead in the tank war here. Because he's been building anti-air on the other side. Wombo combos to get that final capture in the next turn. But at this point, like, when did this happen? When did the huge economic swing happen here? or unit value swing happen here. We're not super far ahead in the unit count. And another blizzard, and I was like, ah, crap. We can't make any progress through all this freaking snow. But I think at this point, I wasn't quite realizing how desperate they really were. Because we can, artillery, we can trade damage artillery over here. But we now have the tank advantage. I was like unbelievably stunned that we stabilized over here. We're even on the economy again because he's captured our cities. Like, he's made some good progress naturally capture-wise that we had to force with our Sami power. With our superpower. But with that final move, he's pretty much sacrificed everything he's got over there. I just leave the missiles, shoot them. How much damage do they do? 3? 3 damage? Just do 3 damage to the anti-air. Doesn't really matter, but now it no longer one-shots our infantry. I thought, man, we're going to need healthy infantry potentially to get this capture at the end here. Because I've already burned my superpower, and we may not get another one before the game is done. But he's on full retreat on his weak side here. And we're looking good. Feeling good at this point. I feel like, oh man, we've done it. We've somehow stabilized, and we're pushing in still. Lose the rockets. Don't give a crap about the rockets now. Because we still got artillery and range to do stuff. Tank advantage. But I do feel like I'm not nearly as strong as I want to be on the strong side. Final turn. Pick up some penguins. Tank movement. Try to front switch a tank over. Keep the push up. Mech tank hits. We're trading. Try to kill this helicopter. Nice, nice. Kill the tank. And I think I do end up building an anti-air here. Hope I do. Yeah. Build an anti-air. Now we're looking good. It's at this board state that like it's like finally at this point it looks like we're winning. That's when they resign. I'm trying to. When did we pull ahead here? Look at the stats at the end. When did we pull ahead? I feel like look at this state. Turn 14. Our turn. But we are. I mean, if we include our daily income, we're what, 22? We're 20-ish thousand behind, and 18 to 26 unit count. By the end of the turn, we're ahead in unit value. Well, actually, we're still behind. We've closed the unit count gap, but they're going to be, they're still going to be about 20k ahead of us after they spend their money. And we sort of flip-flop back and forth here in value, but we're both back up to 100k. Slightly ahead. Unit count fairly even. We've lost our unit count again. Day 17. Back and forth, back and forth. Day 18 to 19. Oh, look at that. So day 18 to 19, we're behind on both unit count and unit value. Things look dire. Artillery is behind. This looks like a nightmare. Activate our victory march. We get the economy advantage here. Blow up a tank. Get good artillery positioning. We pretty much cement our position right here. Hold on here. Let's look down here on the weak side. Move the artillery. We have no choice. Get the hit off on the tank. Move the infantry to blow up this infantry. Now we can attack his artillery. Shoot his tank. And all of a sudden we're winning over here. The only thing he has now is an infantry and an anti-air unit that's healthy. Flying the helicopter. Why did I fly it in right here? Now I know either way he was going to be in range of the helicopter, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could have kept this helicopter, but or no. Retreat the... As I shoot the... Okay, no. So either way, this helicopter would have died, but I feel like maybe it should have been down here. Maybe it's a mute point. Maybe it just doesn't matter either way. But if the helicopter is down here on the plains, anti-air has to go on this road right here, and it has to be in range of our artillery. Whereas here he gets the option of moving that anti-air, and it not potentially being in artillery range. So 18 to 19 for us, right? So we do that big swing. We are ahead 30k. Unit count, a little bit of economy in the cities. I think it's just overextension, right? This is an overextension issue where he does, or by the time he's getting to our HQ, he doesn't quite have the unit value. He doesn't quite have the unit advantage to finally push through, because trying to push through even a base, one base that's constantly producing each turn, can be a real pain in the butt. Can be a real pain in the butt. So at this point, he's attacking us within base range. Units from my base can move into attack, and he just doesn't quite have the force, the overwhelming force that you would typically need in order to do that. And then here... Yeah. Not only that, now this is his turn. Overextension. So he probably should have retreated on both sides here, or hunkered down on this side. So this is the turn that he kills our rockets, right? Yeah. So he ends up sacrificing quite a bit to kill our rockets. Yeah, because he ends up sacrificing a tank and the anti-air to deal damage to our rockets, and he kills what, our APC for it. That's it. So I think too aggressive on his part. At the same time, though, it's like we have rockets now that are almost in range of your HQ, almost in range of your base, actually. Almost in range of his base. So I can sort of see if we were going to lock down his base, it's the rockets is what's going to do that. No. So what did we do right? What did we do right? I don't know. Build rockets? Build rockets? Did we get value out of our recon? Other than forcing a tank on his weak side and sort of not allowing him to have a tank chain early on. Also, the tank he built resulted in a base skip. That's about all the value we got out of it. We got the free hit. I don't think numerically we really got the 5k damage that we were looking for with the recon. Some blunders, some weird mech positioning, some weird unit throwaways. We attacked on both sides at the same time. We cannot be doing that. We could have had a much easier time defending over here than we needed to. Than this last, like, this is literally like last ditch effort. We hold now, or we literally lose the game. And he's making progress and he's ahead of us. We barely pulled it out. Barely pulled it out, I feel like. You gotta say though, when you see any unit blinking ammo or blinking fuel, I feel like at the very least you've done something right, right? Anyways, that's this game. Let me know what you guys think. Did I miss anything? Is my thinking kind of correct here with the things I'm saying? Let me know. I'd really appreciate it. Hope to make more content soon, more videos. Start diving into sort of my general philosophy. But this was like the first game where I was like, if we build lots of infantry, that goes well with missiles and artillery, and we build, you know, like I feel like pieces are beginning to fall together as far as maybe coming up with my particular playstyle or playstyle for Sami in general. Felt good. Felt good. Been having a blast playing this game. Hope you guys are too. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the future.